Now let me ask you this, and let's say you stay, with the Giants for a while, but let's say something comes up. If you had your choice, and you've worked with a couple different head coaches, do you prefer defensive-minded head coaches who are very interested in the defensive side of the ball, or do you prefer an offensive-minded coach who gets a defensive coordinator and says, you guys take care of the defense, I'm going to go write a brand new playbook for the offense, you guys have fun with that, or does it not matter to you either way?
Well, when I was with John Gruden, I mean that whole setup, and then most of my career I was with the 49er Bill Walsh. I'm out of that tree. I'm underneath that family tree there, and the offensive, he's the offensive coordinator, so he's so busy with the offense.
Right.
It's different, And then Coach Coughlin was the first head coach that I had where he was overseeing everything, and I think he does an excellent job. I've learned a lot from him, just because he does interact with us more. Because he isn't the offensive coordinator, and I think it's a big plus when he isn't the coordinator, so you really get the chance to learn from him, and he's been excellent.
Let's talk about the draft. I know Kenny Phillips, safety out of Miami, a nice pickup for you guys. A lot of people are talking about him, and I believe you got somebody, a defensive end, I believe, later on, I believe from Southern Miss. I forget his name.
Henderson.
Yep, Henderson. Talk to me about him. Do you think he will be an impact player right away, or are you going to slowly work him in and see what he has for you guys?
Well, I don't say anything until they put the pads on and I hit somebody,
Right.
And then say, well, I hit somebody that day. Well, you got to hit somebody every single day through that training camp. And put a helmet on in the defensive line. I tell our guys all the time, I don't think there's a more physically demanding position of all the sports. You can put boxers in the ring. Do they box every week? No, they don't. They have a few months off, in between. Ultimate fighting, the same type of deal. A defensive lineman takes a lot of punishment from a lot of big guys. I mean, they'll be on those double teams, and that's over 700 pounds of very powerful, physical human beings that they have to hold off. Nobody understands that these offensive linemen who are bench press over 500 pounds are punching them time after time, 60 times a game. You're in there banging your head over and over again. So it's a very physically demanding position. So these young guys, they got a lot to prove to them.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
No, that's an interesting thing that he's talking about, because it was funny the other day. I was watching ESPN too, and they were doing stuff with new kinds of sensors and stuff. And they actually had a couple defensive linemen taking hits without pads on, wearing sensors to see how many pounds per square inch. And on a double hit, they were getting like 5,000 pounds per square inch at center mass.
Yes.
So I mean the body, and they were talking about the amount of abuse the body takes per hit, and how much the pads really don't help.
Yeah, but that's interesting. I'd like to see that show.
Because they did it with football players. They did it with rugby players. They did it with soccer players. It was an hour thing that was on. Wow. It was really interesting.
It is. I saw a show too. It was called Sports Science that kind of does stuff like that as well. It is. It's physical, and it just sometimes I wonder, like, the Patriots did a phenomenal job pretty much all season long of protecting Tom Brady. Everybody, he's got all day back there, and you guys did a nice job in the final week of the season. But then in the Super Bowl, it almost was like you guys turned it up a notch, and he just did not have much time at all.